Assalamu alaikum. Sulaiman Rahim here. Breaker of the Seven Seals. Messenger of the Covenant. Assalamu alaikum. Critical Analytics. War Talk. War Talk segment. We're going to talk about the lone warrior today. The lone warrior. And there's a couple of AL-INJIL nuggets I'm going to go into in a little more details than I've probably ever given before about this timeline. So first, we'll talk a little bit about the lone warrior. Now we're told that Suleiman would go into this battle alone because he could not find anyone to stand with him to fight this battle. So he had to fight alone. That's until the four winds blew, and then he raised a mighty army. It says, "Son of man, when you're ready, your people will be ready." Problem is, our people don't realize we're at war. Some think they realize, they don't. Because before you can understand the war, you have to understand the nature of the war. Say, for instance, this COVID thing, right? Okay, well, say this came from China, and they want to attack biologically. Now, if you don't know that's the nature of the war they're battling, then you might think that's an accident or whatever. But they know they're at war with you. So, oh, that was a mistake or whatever. So, you don't know how to, you can't really counter, you really can't do anything because you don't realize you're at war. But they know they're at war because that's the nature of the war. See? Because you think the nature of the war is going to be, well, atomic bombs or something. So they come that way, and so they catch you off guard and they can destroy, do a lot of destruction because you don't realize you're at war with them. Because they're at biological war with you, but you don't see that as the war. See? Same thing like Noah. Noah was told destruction would come in the form of flood. See? So in the form of flood, that means you'd have to be able to, right, prepare for a flood. So he built an ark. And it said the flood will cover the mountains, so you don't want to run to the mountains like his foolish son did, right? You want an ark that's going to lift you up. You'll be, immune or saved from the flood. So you have to know the nature of the war. If you don't know, then you can't fight the battle. You can't prepare for it. So therefore, you'll be defeated by it, destroyed by it. And the nature's war is reality. That's the nature's war because we're going against their reality. We're destroying this total reality because total reality is against us. That's the nature of the war. This reality they've gave form to energy. This is the form they've given to it, which is a form against us. See, they've given this reality come out of nowhere. They gave form to it. See, energy is just energy, right? It's just mathematics, but you have to give it form. And so we gave Adam the power to give it form 500 years ago, right? So he gave it this form. But this form is against us. And the nature of the war is to destroy this reality and replace it with a new reality. I will make all things new. That is the fundamental nature of this war. You transform energy from one form to another. You give it a different quality because this is the quality they gave it. See, they can't control the quantity. They control the quality. This is the quality that they gave it. See? Now we have to use this energy that's we have and transform it to something else. We don't have to take energy from someplace else. We have to transform this energy to something else. And you can't do that if you're part of this energy. You have to take this energy and start transforming. So the transformation has to start with you first. Has to start in your mind, because that's how you give form, right? Because it has to originate in your mind. So okay, I want to give it this form. I want to change this. But first you have to deal with the form that you have, because that's what you have to transform it from. See? You have to find the energy that the form that's in, that you find yourself in, that's the form you have to work with. So this is the form that we have to deal with. So we have to transform it. But we can't transform. First we have to transform our minds. And that's the job of Suleiman, because he's come and give you the angel to transform your mind. Because first of all, your mind is energy also. And he has to transform your mind. Your natural mind, because they transform your mind into a mind that works for them. They transform your mind into a mind that works for them. Just listen to it. That's the sealed Bible. It was given to Adam, and it was to have control over you. So therefore, he gave you a mind, and your mind works against you, because the cross. Everything about that works against you, of your original people. Because first of all, you're not the true seed of Abraham. False Israel is. You Ham. You was born to be a slave. You're supposed to love your master no matter what he does to you. The more he harms you, the more you're supposed to love him. See? This is the reality that you're living in. See? Your mind was transformed to the sealed Bible, and it works for Master. So if it tells you to do everything, because you're supposed to obey Master no matter what. Obey your Master. That's the mind that you're working with. That's the mind Suleiman has to transform. He has to transform your mind first. You see it in the angel. You see it in the book of Daniel. You see it in Mark, right? Where the demon-possessed man has been given his mind back. And Daniel, the lion originally, has been given his mind back. Because you cannot start that process until you transform the mind. And that's the job Suleiman has to do, right, with the angel. Because angel is your mind. See? Your mind is your software. Hardware is your brain, but your mind is your software. See? And they've uploaded your brain, right, your hardware, with this Christianity, right, which is to allow them to rule over you, to make you submissive to them, and to do as they tell you to do, because you created their vision. You take your energy and use it for their purposes. They're controlling your energy for their purposes. And anytime you transform energy, there's always a waste product involved. Just like when you eat, right, you're transforming energy. You're taking an apple and you transform it into energy that your body can use, right? And then you have a waste product, right, that comes out the other end. Anytime you convert energy, you have a waste product. And see, what they've done is they've taken our energy, consumed it, produced the waste product, and they give us the waste product to eat. That's what they give us back. They transform our energy, because it's a simple analogy is when you was in chain slavery, right? You went out and you used your energy to go out and farm and everything you needed for them, to provide for them food and clothing and housing, mansions and everything else, right? So they use your energy to provide that for them. And what they give you back? They give you back the leftovers, the shit, right? Shitlings. You call them chitlins now. That's what we call them back then. Chitlins, that's exactly what they are. See, some ransacked little place, right? Hole in the wall, shithole to sleep in. Not a bed, anything. You slept on the floor, cold floor. They lock you up at night, make sure you run away. See, raggedy clothes. Get you one pair of shoes, one raggedy pair of shoes once a year. Once you ran out, you just walk around barefooted. I know some of you, if you ever went back to the South in the last 30, 40 years, right? you saw your relatives down there walking around barefooted. Why do you think they walk around barefooted? Because that's what they was doing on slavery. They got used to it. Because they had any shoes. That's what you got in return. So they transform energy, your positive energy, right, into a form they could use. And then they transform that, right, into shit which they gave back to you in return, right, for the gold that you gave them. They gave you shit in return. And that's the process still going on today, but you don't understand it, so therefore you're a victim of it. And some of you apparently seem to be happy with it. See? Because you have those around here, the whole idea about slavery, right, is that you was owned, you were property. And the way they term property, they put their seal, they would seal their property, branded. And so they would brand a horse or a cow. So everybody knew that belonged to Master Brandon or Master Scott. So they put his brand on it. See? And they put a brand on you because they called you, right, Amos Scott or Andy Scott. See? Randy Scott, Tony Scott. See? So everybody, so when you think, well, where you going, boy? What's your name? My name is Tony Scott, okay? Oh, he's on by Master Scott. Okay, make sure you get back to that plantation, boy. See? And so now that you're not there, you're still walking around with Master's name. So that means you're either a demon because you're Master's seed, or you're a fool and stupid. Or maybe you've been butt broken, right? Turned out and you like it. Because why would you continue that brand? Right? Why would you be associated with it? I would be 1,000 miles away. I would have got rid of it so fast. When Elijah Muhammad departed, I got rid of my brand so fast. I got rid of that X. And I'm not associated with it at all. So they know me, even though I have my own business, right? They knew, hey, I'm not part of this reality. I'm just doing what I need to do to survive in it, right? Because I'm in the process of transforming it. That's what the angel's all about. But I'm walking around calling myself Tyrone Jones. How am I say I'm at war with this reality? When I don't even change, I can't even transform that part of reality. I can't even transform that basic part of reality. I can't even transform that. So I'm at war with this reality. I'm going to, you're talking about, oh, I'm at war. And you can't, you don't even know how to load a gun, but you're at war. You don't even know how to pick up a sword. You don't even know what a sword is, but you're at war. So in other words, you walk around with slave masters, ownership, brand on you, and you can't even change that reality, but you're at war with reality. You're at war with reality. Who you bullshitting? You should get rid of all traces of that name, all traces of it. I wouldn't want to be associated with all. Somebody pour shit on me, I'm going to sit around and keep walking around with shit on me. I'm going to get rid of all of it. So that's what I'm saying. Our people don't know they're at war because they're collaborators. Maybe not willingly, but they're still collaborators because they're helping they're helping maintain this reality. They, in fact, not help maintain it, but they actually help developing it. Willingly, to their own detriment. This whole thing about money. That's the biggest illusion because it makes you think they control the quantity. No one controls the quantity of energy. No one does that. Allah does not do that. To control the quality, no one can create energy or destroy it. No one can do that. Allah cannot do that because Allah is energy. Right? He is mathematics. But the will of Allah is what transforms energy from one form to another. Time traveling. That's what time traveling is. You change energy from one form to another. So, you're not transforming anything, but you're saying you're at war. And now this is the energy that we're dealing with, right? It's the nature. And so we claim, oh, no, you're not at war with it because you're a part of it. See, you're still involved in their traditions. See, they gave it this form. First they reformed your mind. It took 64 years to reform your mind, to transform your mind. Once they transform your mind, right, then they transfer your mind to make you, right, build their reality. And so you've been using your energy, they've been taking your energy and controlling your energy, so you've been building their reality. Like I said, with money, they make you think they control, no, they don't control the amount. That's an illusion. If you think somebody got $1 billion, you think they have more money, more energy than you, they don't. It's impossible. See? But it's an illusion to make you run after something, right? That's self-destructive, something you cannot achieve. Waste your energy trying to achieve something you cannot. That's another way of controlling your energy. If they can't control it for their purposes, they get you to work against yourself with it, to waste it. Because they don't want you transforming your energy into extension of your nature. Because only one reality can be. And what they're doing is they've created this reality, and they have you going along with this reality. Have you support this reality. Yes, we have to work. We have to use their money, right? See? And because that's the material we have to work with. When Master Muhammad came, he had to use their money. Master Muhammad had used their money, but he was taking their money, everything he was doing, whatever he got, he was using that to transform, right, the reality, right? Because he was trying to build a nation within a nation. And he got so far until demons came and destroyed all of that. So money is the means how they maintain this false illusion. See? Because you feel like you can't do anything without money. And they control the money. They control what you buy, what you sell, whatever. And you think you need to, you really don't need that, but I'm not going to go into that kind of detail because none of you are strong enough to handle that. The thing is that you don't need it, but that's an illusion that you think you do. So therefore, by that means they're controlling your time travel, your conversion, your transforming of reality, right? Your transforming energy into the quality that they want, not the quality that you want. Then you wonder why things didn't work like you want to work. How come everything is against you? Because you're building a reality that's built against you. It's like committing suicide. That's what you're doing. That's why things not work like you want them to work. How is things? I mean, how if you say, I mean, how you expect things work like you work? How you expect to go north if you travel south? See? When you go north, go north. And that's why it says Suma is a long word, because people understand the nature of the war, and those that claim they do, they're not warriors. Because how can you be a warrior if you supporting, augmenting, right? This reality, when you say unify, you say the war is to transform this reality. You walk around like with their brands, their culture, their rituals, their religion, all that's the reality. And you participate in that, so how in the world you're at war with it? If you're at war, you'd be totally against all that in every respect. But you're not. Like I said, you can't even change the basic. So how are you at war? You can't change it. A guy said, well, I'm at war, man, and I don't even know how to use a gun. I don't know how to use a knife. I don't know how to use a sword. See, I don't know how to ride a horse. I don't know how are you at war? So you walking around talking about, I'm at war. See, and my name is James Donaldson. Your words around your name is James Donaldson. You mean, oh, you owned by Mr. Donaldson, Master Donaldson? What you at war with? If you're at war, that means you change. First, you got to change the basics. You got to start there. So you're not at war. That's why I said Suleiman. He was a lone warrior because no one understood. No one understood. See, they thought they understood. They didn't understand. So he walked on water, right? That means he was above this. He was trampling down this reality. He was walking above it. And a couple of disciples come along and he had them walk forward. Then they realized they were walking on water and they sunk. See, because fear overtook them and they sunk right back into this false reality. So Suleiman had to walk along until he had to transform their minds, right, to their own reality, to their own nature. Because they can't change. It says Allah will not change people's condition. They change their own condition. So the only way your condition is going to change, first you have to get your mind correct. Otherwise, what reality are you bringing in? You want to bring in a reality that's an extension of your nature, but you don't have your natural mind. You know what I'm saying? It was taken away from you. You don't have it. So Suleiman's trying. He's not trying, but he's going to give you your natural mind. But see, God's going to have to make his miracle happen, what you might call a miracle, abomination, desolation. See? What's going to shock you. See? Going to send an electric shock, right? Right? That's going to cause you to start uploading that angel, upload your natural mind. Once you do that, then you start thinking, right, according to your nature. When you start doing that, means you're going to start time traveling, converting energy, right, to your nature, to your vision, which is totally opposed to this world's vision. Then you're at war. Then you are really at war, because you're not at war right now. You're not at war right now. I mean, you might be going in and going in and throwing a couple of rocks or something, or sitting back in with your binoculars on. But you ain't at war. You ain't at war. See? Because first of all, you got to have your natural mind. Do you have your natural mind? You upload the angel. Have you done that? Have you separated yourself from society? Are you still walking around with masters' names in any respect? Because if you got master's name, you're owned by master. If you're still using that name, you're owned by master. And we're not going to, okay, you want to be master. You're owned by master. Master's going to claim you in the judgment. That's my nigga. Harry Goldblum. See? Kareem Double Bomb. You mean you're still owned by master? You're owned by master. I'm not just telling you anything. That's a fact. That's a fact. Those names were given you to say, identify who you're owned by. They still do that with females when they marry them. So you marry. This is not a universal culture. This Europeans did this because they always they do sleep with everybody and adultery and everything else, and it's got out of control. So that's why they put a ring on the finger and you get a man's last name, so you know that she belongs to him. And it still wasn't enough. You ever heard of chastity belt? Look it up. See, if they had to be born a day or whatever, or they had to go away from their wife at all, they put a chastity belt on her. A chastity belt. She couldn't take it off, and nobody could do anything to her because that chastity belt blocked anything. This is stuff they was doing. So he put his brand on the woman. That's not Islamic. Maybe some Islamic countries do it. That's not Islamic. Islamic, the woman maintains her family name. Only thing is the children takes the father, because he presents the seed. So the children takes the father's name. But she don't have to take his first name. There's no obligation, no whatsoever. She wants to take his name, that's on her. But that's not a part of Islam at all. Not even Sunni Islam. Maybe some people might do that. See? And in India, they do the whole thing all different altogether. This is Western culture stuff. So you don't understand the nature of the war. That's why you're not a real warrior. Because are you a warrior? Are you fighting? You're not fighting this war. You're not fighting against this reality, because you're part of it. Or we're all a part of it, but you ain't. But you're a willing part of it, and you're not trying to change anything. Because like I said, the things that you can change, you're not changing. So how are you going to tell me you're at war? Because you're not. I say, someone be walking, he be fighting this battle alone. Until he called the four winds. See? That's when Master Muhammad goes into effect and take out false Israel. And that shock, that shock waves, is going to shock you, right? You might know, they tell you have to get, what they call that, shock treatment, right? when you're insane and everything. That's what you're about to get. You're about to get shock treatment. That's what it's going to take. See? Okay, so I was going to talk more about that, but I know I got a few things I want to cover, right? Now, I mentioned previously about dreams, right? And I said, you're in a dream state, you don't realize you're in a dream state. See, all of us in a dream state, it says, soon will be the first begotten of the dead ones. They try to say he's alive. One wasn't of the dead ones. You have to study the angel and understand that. He was a Levite. They weren't of the dead ones. See? It was Israel that was the dead ones. Soon will be the first one begotten. Anyway, that's another story. See? But we're in a dream state. We've been in a dream state for 35,000 years. That's what religion is. That means you're in a dream state. That means you have not out of touch of reality. None of these religions are in touch with reality. If they were, they could produce, they could influence, take and modify, and transform energy. They can't. None of them can do it. They take mathematics. Everything you see around you as a result of mathematics. None of it as a result of Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, any of it. They are producing a thing they can't. You don't have a Hindu car. You have a Buddhist plane, right? You have anything. But all those things, right, those things are produced by mathematics. Now take, for instance, all the things that you know, and I want to talk about this, I'm not take too long with this one, but all the things that, inventions that they've had in the last 500 years, why they all came from America? The plane, electricity, cars, what was it, missiles. He said, oh no, missiles, they got the idea. Germany can't missiles. No, they got the idea from China. See? So they didn't originate that. So Europeans had no idea, they had no technology, anything. The weapons they have, right? Nuclear power, all that stuff came out of America, all of it. But yet still they superior race, that's what they say. So you would expect that stuff should came out of Europe, it should came out of Australia, it should came out of Russia. No, it came out here. All they do is just copy what they got out of here. What's the difference? Because we're here. I kind of point that point. It was so obvious. Look right here. Australia is a continent all by itself. They didn't come up with anything. Tell me something that came, invention, some innovation came out of there. Canada's right across the border. The same continent as here. Right? Same people. How come they no innovation didn't come out of there? They're just out of here. Because you're the gold and the silver. See, they're taking your mind and transform it to control, and transform it to form they wanted to use for their purposes. And so they can take your creative mind and they use it for their purpose. That's why the scripture says, once we take it out of here, We are the gold and silver that's being taken out that will plunder Egypt or America. They know we are this. We are their gold and silver. That's why they hate you so much. They don't want to let you go. Because you leave, then they go back to being nothing, just like Canada, all the rest of it. Because all the innovation comes out of here. Period. And it just came since we came over here. They didn't have, for 5,500 years, they had no innovation. They was pretty much living like they was living 6,000 years ago. Still riding a horse, still horse and buggy, still swords and knives, and they had a musket, but they got that from China too. And the arrow was still more effective than that. They're still using bow and arrow stuff for 6,000 years of students. Their technology didn't change for 5,500 years. All of a sudden, bam, this explosion of technology. Once they bring us over here, only us, only America, no other place, and you don't get it. That should have the power that you got, but they're using that power against you. Because if that power was, if you got away from here and that power you had it, just think what, boy, how powerful you would be if you're using that creativity for yourself. But now you use for master, and he's taking it, and he's taking all your you the goose that laid the golden egg. He's taking your egg and he's giving you rotten eggs, and you don't understand it. You're the engine that's driving all of this. They don't want you to know that. So I'm going to take a little short break here. Then we're going to move on into the, I think move into the rest of the lecture, because I don't want, I think we do that. Just take a short break here. I apologize, brothers and sisters, I'm nursing this cough. I think it's almost gone. It's coming and going. It's COVID. Oh. On that note, I said a little, it says it's a respiratory disease, and I kind of thought about it because, I think I caught it before, but this is the worst case. And it's a respiratory thing. And it didn't take me down. I mean, I'm doing a lot of coughing, but I still get to the gym. I do all the things I do, right? But I realized that they put you on the respirator because you can't breathe. See? But they say if you put it on long enough, then they can't take you off of it, because if they take you off of it, you die. Because if you're not using it, because the respirator takes place of your breathing. So your lungs are weak, then the longer you stand, the weaker your lungs get. So once they take you off, your lungs are too weak, you can't breathe. They can't leave you on it forever. Okay. So it came to me that the stronger your lungs were, the better chance you ever survive with this thing. So what I did was, I doubled my time on running, right? And with all those things that, that build your lung function up, and so, I got this cough, but that's about the worst thing that's happened to me. I had a headache once, I think, right? So I just point that out, right? It seems to me, right, based on my understanding. That's why they go to rest. See, because I'm 72 years old, my lungs were weak, and I'd be on a respirator instead of just coughing. See? Now I said, if you're on the respirator for a week, 2 or 3 weeks, you're not using your lungs because you're breathing off the respirator. So your lungs get weaker and weaker. So by the time they get the virus out of your system, you put out the respirator, your lungs too weak, and then. So I just thought about that. Just something to think about. Okay, so Okay, I'm going to move off, but I want you to understand this thing about dreams. See, religions are dreams. That's the dream world we've been living in for 35,000 years. It has no connection to reality. Not one religion out there is connected to reality. Not one. Only true religion is mathematics. Everything around you is based on mathematics. Everything of it. You can't find anything that you can say, oh man, this product came a result of religion. Or say, well, prayer. Prayer. Okay, well, all religions say that. And do your prayer work 100% of the time? And then that's kind of stupid anyway, because you say, well, if prayer is the way that you get religion to bring religion to reality, to transform reality, if that's the key, if that's the method, the tool, then are you stupid? Because you say, when I pray for a car, why pray for a car? Why not pray for $1 billion? If prayer works, that means you get the car and everything else. See? And does it work all the time? I mean, if your car, you went out to your car, and sometime it starts time, just how long would you want that car? Would you plus that car? But you say, but it works sometime. No. So how do you know it's working at all? Anyway, I'm going to leave that there. See? Anyway, we're at war, brothers and sisters, but none of my people realize we're at war. But they're not at war. Their mind is already, they still got the analytical mind that's operating 10%. That's blocking everything that's supposed to your mind. They're operating an analytical mind, right? And they're still in love with this reality. They're promoting this reality, right? They're not changing anything. They're not even acting based. They think they're acting based on their spatial mind. They're not. They're still acting on an analytical mind. A spatial person sees that right away. Analytical mind can't see it because they're blind to it. They can't see. They still working with the analytical mind. Spatial mind sees that, and that's my job, to try to break that barrier, that dumb barrier, to get to your spatial mind. Because once you unlock that key's turn, then you'll change. Then you'll truly be at war, because now you'll be transforming energy from what it is, right, until extension of your nature. Then you're at war. That's the war. That's the real war. Are you doing that? Are you doing that? See? Just ask, are you doing that? No, you're not. See? Not yet, but you will soon. See? A lone warrior. Okay, we're going to move into a couple things, brothers and sisters, here. Okay, let's change something here right quick. Okay, brothers and sisters, the fog. You're in the fog. You've been in the fog for 35,000 years, but it's really intense now. Very intense. The worst. It's gotten so intense you can't see anything. See? So the first God would have walked in darkness. I mean, he had to light up the universe. And it says, now we have walked in darkness. All this reality is darkness to us. And then we have to destroy it. But you're all in the fog. And that fog is to keep you in this religion, and you're so involved in this religions that was giving you, it took you off the mathematics there, the true religion, 35,000 years ago, and gave religions. So that means it put you in a dream state. Because in dreams, nothing is real. Nothing is real in a dream state. And you're in a dream state because nothing is real in any of these religions. And you walking around believing that, and you think that's the right, and your whole life and everything is based on your religion, and it's not real. None of it's real. You can't prove any of it. They ask you, who are the angels? I don't know. Where are they? I don't know. What they look like? I don't know. Who are the devils? I don't know. What they look like? I don't know. Where are they? I don't know. Where's heaven? I don't know. Where's hell? I don't know. Right? Where's the dragon? I don't know. Where's God? I don't know. Where it look like? I don't know. Where is it? I don't know. Don't that tell you something? You don't know about anything. But you understand this is what you put your whole life on. And you believe it, and make matters worse. You got 4 or 5 these religions, these dreams running around here. I mean, it'd be bad enough if you just had one, but you got a bunch of them, so that means all of them can't be right. And maybe all of them couldn't be wrong, but all of them can't be right. That means if you got 4 major religions, 4 major dreams running around here, that means if one of them, only one could be right, that means the other three-quarters have to be insane, because that's what insanity means. You're out of touch with reality. And every one of these religions are out of touch with reality. That's basic. That means if you believe in these religions, it means you're insane. Because you're out of touch with reality, because you can't prove any of this exists. None of it. None of the stuff you say you believe in exists. The Sunnis can't believe any of that stuff they say exists, and neither can you if you're a Jew or if you're a Christian or whatever. You can't prove any of that stuff exists. None of it. Hindu or whatever, you can't prove any of it exists. None of it. At least the Hindus, they got a statue or something they can put their hands on, but you ain't got nothing. You say, well, it's the Bible. Well, how can you can't, first of all, the Bible tells yourself it's under a veil and it's sealed out, so if you not broke the seals, you don't even know what that means. And you can't even prove, you don't know where the Bible came from, because all of them have a scripture. So my scripture said this. Well, how about the Muslims? They got scripture. What about that scripture? Where did that scripture come from? The Hindus got one. They call it the Bhagavad Gita. I mean, that's the Krishnas, right? But the Hindus got one, right? I figure they call theirs, right? But the Buddhists have scriptures. What about theirs? You're in a fog, but this fog is about to be dispelled. See, you're in a fog over here in the west, and you're in the fog over in the east. Master Muhammad is getting ready to dispel that universal fog by taking out false Israel, was the promoter of this fog, the basis of it, and taking down the demons over here. Farrakhan, those people, that's going to rid the fog over here, and then you'll see clearly. See, because he's a master fogger. See, he's a master fogger. That's what he is. See, if you're gonna call him a master, that's him. See, he took, and Elijah Muhammad took and gave clarity, identify who the devil. I always think, and he come and give it a fog. Oh, now you don't know who devils are anymore. Devils ain't devils anymore. See, master fogger. Well, we're about to dispel them in a few days. Okay, we can move on, brothers and sisters. So I'm going to share a few things with you, then we're going to close out. Now, let me make I guess we can leave it like that. This is chapter 12, something I never really talked to you about before. Right? Okay. So it says that it's talking about, I'm going to explain to you, right? That's Nineveh there. They didn't want to be repentant. See, Nineveh represents NOI. Nineveh, the great city, represents America. Because it was 3 days journey. Nineveh, great city, that means 3,000 miles across. But Nineveh was only 1,000 miles in from the East Coast, 1,000 miles in. So, anyway. So, it says that the woman, right? See, so the woman, you understand chapter 12. So, this for those who study AL-INJIL, this is a little thing nugget I threw out to you, right? Okay, says the woman, right, she fled to the wilderness, but the woman has 4 parts to her. See, you think it's just one? No. And so it says one part was given 2 wings of an eagle. That's the one down, that's the one at the bottom down here. That's the Christian, the demon blacks, right? And then the other one, right, it was nourished, right, from the face of the serpent. Now those in the key understand what the face of the serpent is. But point times, and half point time. There's stupid Israelites. Oh, that's 3.5 years, because that's what the Christians say. That's these Christian procrastinators, whatever they call them, right? They think I mean 3.5 years. Don't mean 3.5 years. I'm gonna tell you exactly what it means. It has nothing to do with 3.5 years. It has nothing to do with time, actually. There's one little nuggets I'm gonna throw out at you. It says appointed time, appointed times, half appointed time. So they said, well, that must be 3.5 years. Mean a year and two. And so they said, well, times it must be 2 years, right? That's 3.5 a year. So thinking that's how they come with 3.5 years. It has nothing to do with that. See, it has to do with an event. So we'll show what the event is. See, so we're going to focus on this, when he's going to be doing this. This is Suleiman when he comes and talks in the Nation of Islam. That's what it's talking about. Okay, now we're going to chapter 18. Now watch this closely, right? If in chapter 18 it talks about woe, woe, it's woe, 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 woe. It's 3 parts, right? 3 parts. It's talking about this destruction, this economic destruction, this collapse. And it refers to this great city. See, this great city is Europe. Over here it says wing over here. I should have put that down if I didn't. That's the great city talking about. That's Europe, so-called EU, right? That's what we're talking about there, right? So it says, woe, woe, the city of the great, and Babylon, the city of the strong. Now that's just Russia there. That's Babylon, the city of the strong. See, and this city of the great. Now, they mention both of these together. See, city of the strong and Babylon, city of the straight. It says 1 hour came judgment of you. So all 3 of these things come together, because here you'll also see 1 hour, here you see 1 hour. So you know it's about 3 different things. And the same thing, woe, 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 woe. So you're breaking it in 3 parts. Right? But now here they talk about city of the great twice. City of the great, city of the great. Then here they talk about city of the great once. Right? So remember, this represents total collapse economics of the city of the great. That means during the European collapse at that time when Suleiman comes to the NOI. That's when it says when the measure of covenant suddenly comes to his temple, right? See, at that time there be a total collapse of the European economy, right? See, so how do you figure out what time, point time? Let's go back and see what it says now here. How you square that with appointed time? Appointed time is 1, right? Appointed time that's more than 1 multiple, and half appointed time. So the half appointed time would be half of the first one, right? Half appointed time would be half of the point times. See, you got point time, you got half point time. So the last part will be half of the first part. Now we don't know what the middle part is. At the point times, how much is that? We don't know, right? Could be anything, be 2, 3, but it's multiple. So keep that in mind. So appointed time, right? Okay. So here we got, it says city great and Babylon city. So it's mentioned. So it's not, city great is only mentioned 1 time, but it's mentioned in accordance with Babylon, the city. It was the only time they'll mention that once. Babylon city is strong. But here it's mentioned 2 times. Babylon city great. And here it's mentioned 1 time, but this is half of what's mentioned here, because here 2 cities are mentioned, but this is only half of those 2 cities. This is only half of those 2 cities. Get it? This 2 cities are mentioned here, but this is only half of those 2 cities. This is the one city, the great is half of these 2 cities that's mentioned, right? But this is mentioned twice. You get it? Times, time, right? So let's make sure we get it right here. Read this. It says appoint time and times and half a time. So time. See, this is half of this time, because this time is mentioned together. But it's only cities one time mentioned. It's only mentioned here 1 time, but it's mentioned according with this one. So this would be half of this, because only 1 city is mentioned here, but this is mentioned twice. Time, times, and half a time. So it's talking about this event. It's not talking about a time 3.5 years. Because once it happened, there's no 3.5 years left. it says Babylon will be destroyed in 1 day, in 1 hour, 1 year. So how do you get 3.5 years in there? Because the locust only takes 5 months of that. So how are you going to schedule 3.5 years? See, because that's what they talked about. They just shut up. Because they know the Bible is sealed, so they haven't broke seal, so they shouldn't be talking about it. They don't know how to talk about it. That's what it means, brothers and sisters. Now you might get a little confused about city the great, Babylon city outright, city strong, but that's what it means. Because this one would be half of this, because 2 cities are mentioned here, but this is only 1 city. And if you compare, so if you got 2 cities and you only mention 1, that's half of the 2 cities. Okay. And then here's the 2 cities right here. I mean, here not 2 cities, but it's mentioned twice here. Time, times, 2 times, half a time, how many times it's mentioned here? I mean, half a time what this is, because this city is 2 cities mentioned here. That's what it means, brothers and sisters. Hope you understand that. So let's move on to the next one. Then it says another one here. Now what we have here, this is 7th chapter. This is part of the 6th seal that I never really talked about before. Not in connection with the 6th seal. So it says, I saw an angel stepping up from the rising of the sun. He's stepping from the east. Right? This represents east here, and this represents the west in the angel key. This represents the west up here from the east down here. And having sealed, God living, he has a seal, and cried with great voice to the 4 whom was given to them to treat unrighteously the earth and the sea, saying, not you should treat unrighteously the earth, nor the sea, nor the trees, until we might have slaves of God, have sealed the slaves of God upon the head, forfeits them. So in other words, he's telling him, don't do anything, don't those winds don't blow, don't do anything until because he's rising up until he seals these, and these get sealed. You understand? So that means, because these are the ones that get sealed. So that means it has to be in this construct. That means the sackcloth or the witnesses, they have to still be in the JCPOA when this happens. It has to be in the JCPOA when this happens. So it has to be there. See? Because we go up a little further. After I saw 4 angels having stood upon the 4 corners of the earth. That's a little complicated. I'm not going to that right there. Holding fast the 4 winds of the earth, in order they may not blow wind upon the earth. Upon this. See, everything's being held back since the delay. So he's saying, Suleiman said, hold up until I've done this. And this happens during the JCPOA, because when you go and see the seals, you find only 2 people are sealed. That's the top one here and the bottom one here. He got the seal, the living. See, he has the seal of God living, right? That's a special seal, and the only one that gets sealed is this one and this one. When you read this, it says talk about, but when you at the end it says only one that got sealed, right? Her and then 44,000, and out of the tribe of Judah 12,000 haven't been sealed. But out of the tribe of Reuben, out of the tribe of Gad, they ain't saying for those being sealed. Or at the end it says, and the tribe of Benjamin 12,000 have been sealed. So only this one's sealed and this one's sealed. So let's see if we can make sense of that. See. So he said, until I've done this. So, because remember, in chapter 6 seal, there's a delay of a half an hour. Right? That's, he said 6 months. And then there's this delay. Because this is part of the 6th seal. So it's 2 delays. This one. See? When you put all these together, then you understand what's going on here. So we're going to try to understand this. We're going to start at the point, because they give you a whole timeline here. In chapter 11, gives you a very strong, powerful timeline. We're going to start from the point of JCPOA. See, they tell you, they started the timeline actually from 1948, but we only going to start from 2015, right? So the 42 months, it says they would be under the feet of the nation. That's JCPOA, they're down here. And that would happen, said for 42 months. That'd be, and the JCPOA started 2015, so that would be 42 months, 3.5 years. That would mean 2015 to 2018 and 6 months. So that's when Mr. Trump ended it. That's what happened. So here it is, right? Because that's when this is when the angel. So this is when that delay takes place. He says, you don't do anything while they're still here. So that's what it says right here. On the second one under here, it says 2018 to 2018 and 11, right? So that gives you what? It says that's 6 months. So angel delays to seal 144,000. That's 6 months. Now, how do I know it's 6 months? Because in the fifth seal, it tells you there's delay. It says, it tells those, it's talking to Shia there in the fifth seal. It says, you wait time little. So little time, that's why this would be a little complicated, brothers, because you can get very complicated in the angel. So it says time. Why time little? What's time little mean? That means a little point of time. And what's the shortest point of time you talk about an angel? Half an hour. It's half 6 months. So that's the other delay. See? Because they were still under, right? Because they was under the altar, and they was clean. How long before you do something? He said, no, you wait, get white robes, right? Because that's what. Because when they're on the top, they gold. On the bottom, they white. So he says until time little, right? Until Syria had been attacked, like Iran had been, because Iran was attacked during the so-called Iran-Iraq war for about 8 years. So now it says, I'm not doing anything until your fellow servants, the Syrians, have been attacked just like you were. And that's what they're happening to them right now. So, so it says that's another delay, 6 months. So that puts you at from 2008. That puts you in around November 2018, right? 2018. Okay. Then let me move myself out of the way here. I don't need. Yes, I can just do this. It's already. Oops. I already talked about that, so I can do this. So then, that's put you at November 2018, right? Then it says that the Spirit of God, after that, the Spirit of God came to them. That means they moved up, right? See, they moved up from here, because here, remember, the demons are also spirits. So it took them, they were taking 2 years for them to move from this position to this position up here, right? And so that was 24 months. That put you at 2018-11 to 2020-11. That put you November of last year, right? Because now they're moving up. Now they're pushing pressure on America and Britain. Now that's what they're they're putting pressure on them, right? So they're moving up, right? So it will take 2 years to do it, right? And then it says, right, there'll be silence, right, for half an hour, right? That's the other silence. There's 2 silences, right? All together it's 1 year. Half an hour and a half an hour, right? So this one puts you here, and so now it says in May. That's why I said May, because I told everybody. I mean, these things, I was talking about these things before they happen. So in May, right? That means the war would break out, because it was silence, and then the war would break out. And that's what happened. They had war break out in May over in Middle East over there, right? And they've been fighting ever since. Now they actually say they say officially they're at war with Iran. Say they're at war with Iran. Iran says they're at war with, as far as Israel. As far as Israel says they're at war with Iran. As far as Israel says they're allocating $1.5 billion just to attack Iran, attack the nuclear facilities. Iran says you do that, and you have to spend billions more trying to repair the damage that we're going to inflict upon you. So they're at war, right? It just hasn't hit the boiling point. And so that would take place, right, from 2011 to 2001, May, that's 6 months, right, 2021, right, that's 6 months, right, okay. Then, this is where it comes in by time out, this is when Suleiman comes, and this is where we're talking about the woman was being nourished, the NOI being nourished from the face of the dream. That's at that point. That's when the EU total economic collapse. See, because this is the point, right? Because see, here you see the Sakharov right now. They're at war. See, they're at war with America. They haven't defeated. No one's got defeated. Nobody's won. But Sakharov, they covered America and Britain, right? As far as Israel, they're at war with them. Let's hit the boiling point. But nobody's been defeated. Nobody's victorious yet. So that's 2021-11. That's where we are right now. That's this month. That's this month, brothers and sisters. That's my analysis. So my analysis tells me between now and the beginning of but now and the 21st of December, which is the beginning of winter, right? That Suleiman will take and the demons will be cast out, the thrones will be cast down from the nation of Islam, that he will set, angel of days will set. That's also where you see in Mark where there'll be a separation between those with Aaron, Farrakhan, and those that so those with Suleiman, right? They came, when they saw him, they immediately ran to him, right, to stand with him. But the demons, no, what you doing here? They resisted, and he said, please don't make us leave the country. And that's in Mark, and they were cast back to the devil daddies, demon daddies, or swine daddies. That's what happened right here. That's where we are. As I told you, we close in, I'm going to be more specific. Now this is my analysis. So for everything we talk about has happened, this is about to happen. Farrakhan is about to be dispatched, exposed and dispatched, right? That's my analysis. That's supposed to happen this month, between now and the 21st December. And then here it is. And down here it says the same thing. And Michael goes to war with the dragon. See? And that will bring about the abomination of desolation, which will eliminate that fog, that universal fog, right? And this also, these things happen at the same time. Master Muhammad would illuminate that universal fog, and Suleiman would take down the demons here and knock out this fog here in the west. He would knock it out in the east. Then your eyes will be clear. And then your mind will upload, because that shock of the hour of false Israel being taken down, right? Abomination desolation will get you to realize that you are a true seed of Abraham. Because right now they got you in the fog. They got you believing someone else is. Once you understand that you are, then you will upload, then your mind will be stored to you, but under great stress, great pressure, because they're going to try to destroy you. Because when you realize who you are, they're also going to realize who you are. And their realization of who you are won't be like your realization, because your realization, right, would be for you to be uploaded and delivered. Theirs destroy you, because they can't allow you to. First of all, they don't want to let you leave the country, because that would be bankrupt them, because that would destroy them, because you are their gold and silver. You'll plunder them. Second of all, if you did leave the country, right, then that means they have no control over you anymore, right? And therefore, you might come back and take revenge, because you'd be much more powerful than them. So what would you do? Would you let your enemy get away? And you know, if you get away, he's going to be more powerful and come back and get you. Okay, brothers and sisters, I hope you understand. So I figure I'd throw a little more at you, right? So I think that's it. Let me see. Okay, brothers and sisters, that's it. I think I covered everything, but again, it says who might be a lone warrior, because our people don't realize their war. They say they want, you know, I mean, there's no reflection on them because their mind's been taken from them, and they still have the devil's mind. He gave them they gave you their mind, their Christianity, their religion. They gave that to you. So that's what you're thinking with. And so you're not at war because you steady building that. Because the war is about this reality. It's their reality or our reality. I told you, end result, their reality is that mechanical electronic being. That's where this is going to. See, but our reality, right? And I showed that. I'll show this real quick. I'll show this quickly if I can. This is our reality. Okay. Let me make a little bit of something here. This is our reality. See? We don't do manufacturing on the planet. We don't manufacture off planet. We don't just corrupt and destroy our planet. We make our turn. We're going to return our planet, like it says, was the beginning, so it'll be the end. We're going to return it back to the paradise it was, and even make it even better. But there's this mechanical, because they're at war with this reality. They're at war with the true reality. Because they was not made, they was made to make mischief and shed blood. They was made in haste. They was not made to survive in this reality, in the true reality. They only had a 6,000 year window to operate in. That's when the universe has top maximum expansion, right? And we suffer energy deprivation, and after that they have no time. The pressure is just too great to destroy them. See. So understand that. And that right now, they're telling you that this reality I'm showing you right here, they're destroying it. They says it's the whole planet, global warming, climate. They said, you understand? It says God will destroy those who are destroying this planet, this earth. It's a battle of realities, brothers and sisters. And you're not fighting that battle because you are immersed in this reality. You promote this reality, right? Some of you enjoy this reality, swimming in it. So you're not at war with this reality. Otherwise, you totally abandon this reality, be totally against it. You wouldn't have any Marxist reality, right? You'd be standing out as a warrior against reality. You'd be your every word, every action, your way you look, everything would be totally against this reality. But it's not, because you in tune with this reality. You're in sync with it to some degree. So you're not at war, brothers and sisters, but you will be in a minute. That's why it says Suleiman will walk alone. See? Because he couldn't find any warriors, right, that was prepared to fight, right, was ready, prepared to fight this battle with him. Every time he lifted someone up, right, lift someone up above it, he was walking on water, fear overtook him, and he started sinking again. They could have walked, but they wasn't ready. See? That's why it says things like if you love your mother more than me, love your father more than me. That's what they're telling you. They ain't telling you to ban your mother and father. That's not what they're telling you. They're telling you is, right, you have to totally reject this reality 100%. No ifs, ands, and buts. Because if you only ban it 50%, that means you give 50% support to this reality. If you only ban it 80%, it means you give it 20%, but that means you're not at war with it. So if you're not with me, you're against me. That's why I said those type of things. That you have to be 100. If you're at one with it, you be 100% one. None of you are like that. And don't be looking at these sisters, because these sisters bringing these gods to the world, they're doing everything they're supposed to do. There's nothing to say about them. Nothing. So anybody use that excuse, well, you sister know, if they bring it, because that's what this is all about, brothers and sisters. Bring it, they doing without bringing new gods and then what's the point of what we're doing? We bring it because they're going to inherit all of this. We're doing it for them. We're taking it home for them. See? Your mind was sealed down tight with 7 seals, because 50,000 years ago, to make sure you return your mind. Your mind is you have a gold mind. You had the greatest mind in the universe, but it was taken away from you. But your real mind your software was sealed down with 7 seals, so nobody could touch it. It's unbreakable seals. And your land was covered with sand, so nobody could corrupt it. See, and Master Muhammad built this marvel of technology, right, to take you back home and to blow away that sand. That's why they covered it. So because why you want to inherit something that's all corrupt and used up? That sand's been covered 50,000 years. That land is pristine on there. You probably could drop a seed and probably grow overnight. It's so rich. That's why you know that, because of oil that comes out of it. That's where oil comes from, where you got a lot of topsoil, because that means it was lush. It's like you see this background right here. That's where it was. That's why you got so much oil in it, because all comes from decayed life. So that means had there been a lot of it, had been a paradise, and we're gonna return to paradise. Master Muhammad said it's the best part of the planet. He said we reserve. See, Farrakhan ain't teaching those lessons. He said if he reserved the best part of the planet by itself, then what you mean you reserve it? Because I mean you plan on taking it back. But Farrakhan said we ain't going nowhere, and he says they put on the worst part of planet Earth. So why in the hell you want the worst part of planet Earth when the best part of planet Earth is yours? And they're gonna tell me that you with Elijah Muhammad and you got Mrs. Black Man and bullshit. You ain't nothing with none of that, because you would be on board with this if you were. If you're gonna see Elijah Muhammad, you'd be on board with this, because he says that's the best part of planet Earth over there, and reserved it for ourselves. It means turn back and take it. That means it's covered up. If reserved it means you covered up, prepared it. You know, like you take it, seal something up, you take it, put it in, you put it in a safe or something. So you covered it with sand. And he said, this is the worst part of planet Earth over here where we are right now. See? And then I said your mind had to be restored. Your God mind. So he locked that down too with 7 seals. Nobody could touch it but a God. You get your God mind back. And so you're going to get your mind back and your land back. And that's it. It's all okay. It's all over. But you don't want that. See, because they got that analytical mind going, right? And I don't want that damn effing sand. Because you have no idea what you're talking about. I don't want that damn Muslim shit. That Muslim angel shit. That's what you're saying. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. See? The angel, get your mind back. Return you back to your God state. Your land, turn you back to your paradise. Both have been sealed. Your land has been sealed with sand, right? And that's why the Sunnis is a good thing over there for some, because the point, even though they're not true Muslims, they're the jinn, but they're not polluted with pork and all kind of stuff. You see what I'm saying? So you don't even have that in the sand. See, because someone might sink down but it's not really. The point is that at least you don't even have that. So Master Muhammad he's had the vehicle to take us back home and to blow away all that sand. And someone's got your mind, right, to give it back to you. You're going to have a great substance. You are the gold and the silver. You're going to build a kingdom that will last forever. You're not going to build with sticks and stones and bricks and mortar, right? You're going to build with rubies and jewels and jasper and precious stones, because under the earth, all that stuff exists. They got diamonds big as houses. Cavey has barely scratched the surface. He's been maybe 3 miles down deep, but it's 4,000 miles down to the center. So what's the other 3,997 miles? What's under there? All that pressure. You got jewels that never even seen before. Diamonds big as houses. That's what we're gonna build with. See, we built factories stuff built off planet. This place be a paradise, most beautiful, like you can imagine. And you live as long as you want to live, in health and in youth. You never get age, you never get old, right? You live as long as you want to. This is that paradise it's not really a free gift because you pay for it. But in that sense, it is a free gift because you don't have to pay anything for it. We ain't asked you anything. With Farrakhan, you still got to pay him. What is he giving you back? You've been paying him for 40-some years and you got shit back, because that's what they do. All they can do is produce shit. See, we produce gold. But because they got your mind turned around, you produce the gold, you give to them, and they produce the shit and they give you the shit. And so now you sitting around in squalor, eating shit, eating shillings and ghettos and in prison and everything else, right? While they living off your gold. The same thing happened back in so-called slavery, right? Because you went out there and you produced all the food and all the good stuff, wine, everything for them, which they consumed. And when they shit that they produced out of that, that's what they gave back to you. That's very simple analogy, bro. That's exactly what happened. You did the work, but they ate what you produced. And they gave you what they produced, the shit. Everywhere they go, they produce shit. Every place they go, all over the planet, they destroyed everything. Because all they do is produce shit. That make milk, shed blood, that's their nature. They cannot produce gold. We do. We the goose to lay the golden eggs, but they don't lose the rotten eggs, and they can't produce so they, but they want the gold, so they take our gold and force us to take their rotten eggs. And as long as you stay here and listen to Farrakhan, all these them preachers and all these lies, somebody they script teach, somebody find lies, how messy black and all that kind of stuff, right? So you keep listening to them, and you're gonna keep getting that. And the bottom line is that you're not going home because it says you have to be in the Lamb's Book of Life. And who is the Lamb? The one that broke 7 seals. Now show me how Silas, Farrakhan, Royal, and these people broke 7 seals because they don't have the Book of Life. And if you ain't in that Book of Life, man, you ain't going no damn where. Now you deal with that one. Read it. See, somebody explain all this stuff that's going on about using Mr. Black man. Did you tell about COVID? How come you don't know about that? How come you know about the George Floyd 5-month plague? I told you about that before it happened. I told you the last 5 months. I told you about COVID before it happened. I told you we killed the elderly. Parents of us. I told you about all these things. I told you about the war starting in May. I told you about all these things. And now I'm telling you right now that what's about to happen in a few more days. So that's my analysis. So we'll see if I'm right about that or not. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.